Wake up, brother, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, brother, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Manic Monday. It's nice to see everybody out there. Good morning, my beautiful coffee beans. Welcome to the show. up, and I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and just plug the old equipment back up and let's just get this thing rolling out. Okay, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. You got to remember, Bullhorn Betty is not an IT person, okay? I'm not a producer either, just to let you know. Yeah, if you guys didn't figure that out. I'm just an average Joe, okay? I'm an average Joe that does sometimes extraordinary things out there in the real world. We do some epic stuff here and there. That's what brought me my name, Bullhorn Betty, but I wear a lot of hats. And so, like I tell you guys all the time, never quit learning. So I'm learning all about IT. And not only am I learning about IT, I'm learning about all the problems you can have with having and owning your own equipment. It's been great. It's been great. But don't worry, I feel like when we finally get this stuff set up, it'll be, we only have to go through this a few times. And then after that, I think we're going to be good. Cody's voice, it's nice to see you, love bug. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. So anyways, guys, I just wanted to come in and just say I was going to put this all on, the end of the day, and we're just going to roll out, because yesterday I was going to roll out, and then I got kind of in here and I started going through stuff, started reading some stuff. Then I started getting a sweet tooth. It was freezing cold. My bones were hurting, and I thought, you know what, might as well make some banana bread. And then after I made some banana bread, I'm like, you know what, it's a little too late to go live now, and I'm starting to get a little tired, and I'm still kind of lazy because it's so cold and my bones are aching. So no matter what the excuse may be, I chose to take a Sunday for myself, and I'm sure you guys weren't going to be too awfully mad about that. So then I woke up very, very early, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to surprise them with a new camera, everything working, everything being beautiful, right? Yeah, not so much. So guys, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. And while you're coming in here, why don't you let people know where you're coming from? Let's not get there yet, but let people know where you're at and what the weather is like. I can tell you this morning is freezing here in Manatee County. I can tell you I went out there and there is a chunk of ice on my windshield. There's not a whole lot that I can tell you, but I can tell you that it's very, 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 very cold here in Florida, okay? And I'm kind of middle of the state, Florida, not in the center of the state, just middle of the state, on the what am I? I'm on the west coast. On the west coast of Florida, right? So I'm kind of halfway, kind of down on the thing. So I'm in the middle, okay? People further north of me are probably a lot more cold. They're probably may have seen snow. They probably have a lot more ice than I do. And they're probably cranking up their heater like me, okay? I've had my heater cranked up. I know it was freezing because it kicked on like every few minutes. So I know it was cold outside, but we stayed snuggly warm here in the house. And Delilah still doesn't understand cold, and she wants to go outside. And then she realizes it's cold, and she's looking at me like, what's all this pain from this freezing stuff? And then I'm like, are you ready to come in now? And she's like, yes. Oh my goodness. So let's go through here real quick before I say good morning to all of you, since you're already popping in the temperature. So if you guys are here, this is what your Doppler kind of is around the United States. So Sharon, Florida, she's north of me, so she's in 24-degree weather. Then we got Mama, that's in Ohio. Michigan is 4 degrees. Good gracious. 23 in South Carolina, 25 in Iowa. And we had somebody visiting here from the state of Washington, and Washington was warmer than the rest of the United States. How they managed to pull that off, I have no earthly idea. I'm just saying, something ain't right. Something ain't right. So I would, normally we would never, ever, ever say we wish to have Washington State, weather. Like, that's taboo over here in Florida. I'm just saying. You guys that notice, okay? And yesterday we were kind of looking at the state of Washington saying, well, hot dog. This is a first, right? So hopefully you guys are all staying warm. It's very sad. Oh, we got 18. We got 18. Did I just see 18 in Michigan? Yes, I did. Hi, let them 66. It's nice to see you, love bug. Who else did I? 11 in Pennsylvania, Savannah 21, Michigan 17. So Michigan's freaking cold. Phil's across the pond, but she's still pretty cold. 42. 9 degrees in Northeast Ohio. Wow. Midwest supposed to be pretty cold. Okay, great. So we got that intel. 17. It's a warm 17 here. At least I know where you're at. Daytona Beach, 36. That's surprising because you guys are, well, I guess you guys are further north than I am. You guys are over on the East Coast, but I'm still kind of surprised, but you're probably getting some of that wind off the coast. Arkansas, 29. Wow, guys. Missouri, 31. Woo. So you guys, we're definitely Arkansas, 22. So we've definitely got this. Can I get your email so I can send you some information about the remains found in Georgia that could be? Ooh, absolutely. Send those over to me right away. We'll definitely talk about it. Cody's voice. It's bullhornbetty@gmail.com. Very easy. So just send it over to me. If you get it over to me here soon, just let me know you get it over to me, and maybe we'll before we get started on our chaos and we got quite the show. I've been doing some digging in this. I mean, we had 2 shows already that was generated by AI. I don't know if I've been telling you guys that. I've been doing really great with, and we're actually quite enjoying it. 15 degrees. Good gracious, love. 45 in the highs. It didn't even get 40. Brandon, it didn't get 45. I don't think it got 45. Maybe not 47 here, like all day yesterday. I think the top was like 45 or 47 here in Florida and in my area all day. Now further north it's even colder, like I said, but here it was 45. That was the top all day, so I knew it was going to drop, and it dropped down very, very cold. Even the state or my county put out a cold advisory out. So hopefully, and I know our sheriff is really good. He tries to get around the homeless people and get them into shelters as much as possible, but this is the kind of temperature that people lose their life. And like I said, I always think about the homeless vets. I always think about the homeless people. Not that we're going to be able to change, too much. Some of them have substance abuse. And quite frankly, some of them just prefer living life the way I've met people out there that have no substance or alcohol abuse. Maybe a slight mental illness, but they've checked out. They just are living. They want to live their life the way they want to. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen, and you would not believe it. And when I tell you this, you would actually say that is impossible. Like a normal person would never understand why somebody would choose to live out on the streets. But believe it or not, there are people that make the choice. Either, I'm sure it was forced upon them at one point, but then it's like, screw it, here I am. I'm surviving, and, I'm saving this and that and the other. It's the weirdest thing, but some of these people have very bad mental health issues. Some have mental health with substance abuse. I mean, you've got a lot of different people, but whatever the case may be, some of these people, they're so stubborn. They don't want to ask for help. Or they just get sick and tired of asking for help, so they just don't. And they get out there and they hurt themselves by staying out in this type of weather. So, I've been trying to push this initiative around the country, some warm stuff, jackets, used jackets that you guys don't need anymore, blankets, if you got extra blankets, toiletry items, socks, right, long johns, stuff that you guys don't need anymore. Maybe you've got new ones, or whatever the case may be, that those things can go to these homeless folks and help them, so I'm not going to harp too much on there, but let me get back up here and say good morning to everybody, and then we'll get started with our show. And like I said, if you can get that over with me about Cody, let me see if we've got it here yet. I haven't gotten it yet, but if you can get that thing over to me about Cody, I'll definitely speak about. Everybody knows about Cody Bigsby. Most people, I shouldn't say everybody, most people on this channel know about Cody's case. So Sonia, it's nice to see you. Good morning. I hope you stay warm. I hope you and the poopy stay warm. Denise, and this is why I'm sorry, but I love puppy pads because of this. I love the fact that Delilah's trained to go outside. She's also trained on the puppy pads because when it gets too cold cold, she's just a little thing. Okay, it makes it very difficult for them to use the restroom when they're too cold. Even when she's in her jacket, I don't have like boots or anything for her feet. So, anyways, Denise, Deanna, Melanie, it's nice to see you. Sharon, Let Them 66, Evan Baby, it's nice to see you guys. Kathleen, good morning. Sharon, it's nice to see you, and thanks for the emails. Mama, it's nice to see you. Rebecca, good morning. Good morning. Trust the Process, good morning. Who else do we have up in YouTuber? Peggy, good morning. Deanna, it's nice to see you. Lovebug, I hope you're doing well. Crystal Pistol, Your Blues. I think we got everybody. I'm not reading your messages. I'm just saying hi to you guys right now. Oh, happy St. Bridget's Day. Ooh, it must be an Ireland thing. Ooh, that's cool. I never knew that. Phil, it's nice to see you. Oven Baby, I hope you're, don't hear from me for a few days because everybody's trying to commit me. He's saying I'm crying. Oh, for my mom without the need. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were joking around at first. Well, just take a deep breath, and I'm really sorry to hear that. There's nothing that's in your feelings and your emotions, just in all fairness, those are going to be normal, and your body's going to process the information that it's going to process, and you're going to break down. It's nothing abnormal, so I don't see any point of being committed. There's no point in being committed unless it's getting real bad. And did you just have babies? Because that might help. That might be one of the reasons, because you might be going through some postpartum stuff, and in addition with the loss of your mom. So, I don't want to tell. Only I would say trust yourself. Trust yourself and trust your body, but, maybe just take a deep breath in, maybe do some meditation in the morning, maybe find a spiritual person. There's a lot of, there's grief, you're going to go through a lot of grief. I mean, even if you're prepared or you think you're prepared, nobody's ever prepared for this. Nobody's ever prepared for anything, it's hard to prepare yourself for anything. I feel like I've prepared myself for some future news, but I know I haven't, and I know that when those days come, it's going to be very, very, very difficult for me. Unfortunately, the one thing that's absolutely for sure with every single life that is born is that there is going to be a death. Nothing else is for sure, right? You're not for sure whether they're going to be okay. You're not for sure whether they're going to have a good education. You're not for sure that they're going to make it to 18. You're not for sure about a lot of different things. But the one thing you can be for sure about in any life is there will be death. And that's awful, but it's something that is part of life. So there's no easy way to get through it other than just to grieve. And if you feel like it's too much, you need to be open and honest with yourself. But if it's too much and you believe it's too much, then you need to, but let your body purge the feelings. It's completely normal and completely healthy. So I just want you to know, when you lose somebody, grief is real. The depression, the body aches, everything, all of that goes with it. It's real. But it's not abnormal. So I don't want anybody making you feel that your grief is somehow not right, or you need to be committed because you're feeling some type of way and you just need to get over it. Everybody gets over things the way their body gets over it. I'm still healing from trauma that, happened to me several years ago, and, I keep wondering when I'm going to be over it. And at the end of the day, the answer is when my body is ready to be over it. There's no perfect time. So I'm sorry you're going through it, honey, but please don't let anybody tell you that you're wrong for feeling the way you're feeling, or that you need, that you're mental because you feel the way you do. Now, if you feel that maybe you're going overboard, then I would say you need to trust those instincts. And but just because they're not grieving the same way you're grieving doesn't make you're grieving wrong, or whatever the case may be. But again, I don't know your body, I don't know your makeup, and I don't know your family, so I don't know if this is normal or abnormal or, anything like that. So I have to, confer with you. Good morning. It's nice to see you, Cody's boys. Glad Bullhorn's on. Yeah, I wasn't going to until this afternoon, but I'm just like, screw it. Let's just get through this. It's not really a show. I kind of put this stuff together because I'd really like the new camera working if possible. Looks like it's on still. I can see something in there. But it's just not, I've got to take the camera completely down, which is a pain in the ass. I got to undock it, unhook it, unplug it, and reset it. And it just is a pain in the ass. Then I got to put a new memory card in it because I finally got the cord, and I've ordered new cords, high-speed cords, but I think the cord is giving it not the best appearance because of the cord. And so I've ordered all new cords, $40 of new cords for this thing. And I'm waiting for those, though the cords will be in this afternoon between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. But I need to go through all of my memory cards because it's saying my memory card is full. So I've got to be able to find the memory cards and then delete or move everything off of the memory card onto the hard drive so I can reset the memory card and it'll be fine. So that's kind of where we're at with it, But I was hoping and it didn't work out. And then I was getting frustrated and then I was throwing my hands up. And then I'm like, you know what? We can just hook up. It's easy enough to hook up all this stuff and just roll with the old equipment. It's a pain in the butt because everything's kind of moved around in the office. The office looks like a freaking bomb exploded in it. But we'll get through it. So I'm happy. And we got the cords. Like I said, the cords should be here this afternoon. I've got the memory cards. I just got to go through, clear one of them off, and then we'll be good there. And I think by this evening or this afternoon, we'll be able to roll with the new camera and the new equipment. If not, should be up and running tomorrow. But I gotta tell you, this stuff has absolutely tried my patience. But we went from everything being hooked up and no picture coming out to everything being hooked up, a picture coming out and a big block over my face. So I've got the big in the moving, like it was face tracking. I'm like, I don't want face track. Like it's got a box around my face. Who the flip wants to see my face with a big old box around it? So I take the auto tracking off, and then it puts a big freaking square there, and then I realize, oh, I gotta hit record. Record's the only way to take the square off your face. So I hit record. Excuse me. I hit record, and about 2 minutes later, thing pops up, says card is full, and I'm like, ah! I wish I had a screaming person on here. Do I have a scream? I don't have a scream. Maybe I should do the purge. Like I was about to be. You know what? Not to bring your pain to satire moment, but hopefully I'm gonna make you laugh. But I felt like I'm the one that should have been committed this morning, Oven Baby. I'm just saying, because I'm telling you, I looked at my computer and I said, you know what? You better be thankful I have changed into this Christian woman. I ain't a perfect Christian woman, but I tell you what, I wanted to take this damn computer and I just wanted to break it. I know it's not going to solve the problem. Does anybody ever feel like that some days? Like you look at something and you're like, I just want to break that. Like I just want to, right? And if you do that, it's not going to solve your problem and it's going to cost you an awful lot of money to fix, right? So that's a deterrent. It's a deterrent. Okay? But I'm telling you, it was a very trying deterrent because I'm looking at this computer and I'm thinking, I wish I would have never bought you. You were too damn expensive. I didn't like Apple products to begin with, but I was talked into this, right? And now I'm stuck with all this crap. And one thing I could tell you about iPhone and MacBook Pro with all you people, and I know they got all this stuff that hooks to it now, but you guys are robbing yourself blind. It is a pain in the ass. I do not like it. Okay, I do not like the cost of all of it. I do not like all the subscription-based crap. I just want my Windows product back. I want my Samsung back. And I just want to live life like I never touched a MacBook or iPhone ever again. And one day this channel will get back there. I promise you it will. All right, guys. Well, it's nice to see you all. Oh. Well, be careful. The MIT officers are still here. Okay. Well, tell them that you're just fine. Tell them if they need to commit somebody. They missed their opportunity, their window of opportunity like an hour ago. Just they could have came over here. That was about an hour ago. We don't let my daughter fix things. Gotcha. Oh, good. Yes, we need the go button. There it is. That's it. That's it. Thank you for the save, Robin. Thank you for the save. Appreciate that. She's giving me the production cues. I do need a producer. I'm just letting you know. It comes with shitty pay, shitty times on work. Everything like that. I'm just saying. But if you feel like you'll never get your, you just love supporting. Yeah, right. Oh, God, that's so gross. You know what? And we should remember that. Thank you. Over it for now. We should remember that. All you people that can't stand that are all this, Epstein stuff. We should be staying away. Where's the outrage of going out and burning all of our Apple and MacBook products? Remember? Like every bad person, we go out. I thought we were supposed to be burning something. I thought we were supposed to be outraged that, Bill Gates is literally on everything, right? In the Epstein files. Where's the outrage where everybody's taking all of their MacBook and iPhone products to the proverbial dumpster and setting it on fire? Man, we get none of that. Why? I forgot. He's on their side. Of course. They look the other way when it's their side. I keep forgetting that. It's pretty disgusting, but maybe that's what it is. Maybe I should start it off. If I could afford to start it off, I would, okay? We would be dumping all of the stuff into the dumpster and setting it on fire, but we can't. All in good, we don't want anybody, doing any bad things, So anyways, guys, as you guys can see, we back the blue here. We call the chaos for cash. We call it out every single opportunity we can. And of course, clicks for chaos is what we're deeming this, because that is exactly what it is. Fake influencers are rage baiting anti-ICE riots and rioters while raking in donations by the tens of thousands. Crowds for hire firms get high dollar offers to crash deportations. Yes, there are businesses. We're going to be going over those pretty shortly. We've got ActBlue and Soros pipelines that pump millions into nonprofits, alerting rioters to ICE ops. FBI Director Kash Patel investigating because real Americans want law and order, not paid outrage. And this is what this whole segment is. Guys, this has been something that's been accumulating and compiling since we stepped into this in 2025. It's been about a year. I don't know where these investigations are going, but it's time for us to take a look. As things start ramping up around this country, we need to know why. Is this organic? Or is this paid outrage? It is, in my opinion, we're dealing with paid outrage. But before we begin, we've got some not surprising information out there in the ether. Did I forget to set this up? Looks like I did. So here you go. We've got another one, a Democrat that just doesn't seem to understand, keep your hands out of the cookie jar. Do you guys notice it seems like a running theme that like Democrats just seem to think that our money is their money? Do you guys, have you guys noticed that? Have you guys noticed that? I'm just wondering if you guys have noticed. They just think it's their money. They think we are their free ATM machine. Okay? And so here is yet another person that feels they're entitled fraudulently to stuff they did not earn, that they got by the hard-working generosity of people that believed in their message.
A high-profile state lawmaker resigns after pleading guilty to 3 felony charges.
Wow.
She misspent campaign funds and forged checks and bank documents when she was supposed to pay the money.
Forge? I mean, when you start doctoring, when you're a professional person and you start doctoring paperwork, that should be your first clue that you're probably doing something criminal. You know? I'm just saying, I don't understand how people don't understand what they're doing is wrong. Even their assistants, it's like you doctoring. And don't you know that that's a criminal act? Especially when it comes to finances.
Back.
News 4 confronted Democratic Representative A.J. Pittman today.
I'm sorry, I've been trying to reach out for months, Ms. Pittman.
You can talk to her next week.
The constituents, they have many questions.
Wow, reckless. Could have hurt that guy.
She ran from our cameras. Her mom, another former lawmaker behind the wheel, drove away without offering any.
Makes you wonder what the mama's been up to too. I'd be doing a 5-year look back. I bet you anything she learned this from her mama. I bet you she learned it from her mama. Yes, sir. I believe it. Let's keep going. It gets better. No, it doesn't.
Explanation. And tonight
it don't
we're
get better.
digging deeper into those criminal charges. Here is News 4's Spencer Hunt.
Looks like a lovely lady. Ruined her entire life. Ruined it. Gone. I mean, she's gonna get it something back, but not like this. What a shame.
The criminal case against State Representative A.J. Pittman all dates back to 2022 when the Oklahoma Ethics Commission investigated her for improper use of campaign funds. In 2024, she admitted she misspent nearly $18,000 from her campaign.
That doesn't sound like a lot, guys, but you got to understand these people in these state elections, this is like their entire annual salary. I know you didn't know that. But believe it or not, people that are in our state government, it's a part-time job. It's not a full-time job. And they are, their salaries are typically capped at like $30,000 or less. So just to put that into perspective for you.
Fund as part of a settlement agreement with the Ethics Commission. In that agreement, she promised to pay that nearly $18,000 back to her campaign and also pay a separate fine of more than $17,000. The agreement required she pay that with her own money, not her campaign's. Fast forward to last.
So she's got to pull this out of, she's got to come up with, what was that, $35,000? 18 plus 17, that's $35,000 she owed. And she had to find ways to show that she earned money to pay those fees and fines back. It could not come from anybody else. You're not supposed to get rich as a civil servant. Exactly, Peggy. Exactly. And that's what's happening in our federal government. I think our federal government is worthless. And I think until we start really considering defunding them, we're screwed. We're screwed at the feds. They're spending our money like it's like it grows on trees, folks. You want to know why you can't buy your children things? Why you can't even buy a car when they turn 16 without going in so far in debt that you don't even know where your money's going? It's because they're stealing all your money so they can live. Look at how nice this lady is dressed, and she stole $18,000. You know, is everybody sick and tired of the theft and fraud by the Democrat Party? Because I'm certainly am. Now, I don't think it's coming on both sides. Trust me, I believe there is some dirt on our side too, but not this. I mean, this is a culture on the Democrat side. This is becoming a culture. Just because it rubbed off on some other people, don't mean it's not predominantly a Democrat problem.
Last June, the Ethics Commission required she make her first repayment of $12,000 and provide proof the money came from her personal account. That's where court documents say she messed up, alleging Pittman had her legislative assistant help doctor a check and bank documents to make it look like she'd withdrawn the money from her personal account. Last fall, investigators with the Attorney General's office served search warrants on Pittman and that assistant's homes. There, court documents say they found a computer with an instant message exchange between Pittman and that assistant, Trina.
Poor assistant, right? She wants to do right. She's being instructed. But again, she knows it was criminal, you know? And let me just be honest with you. You can be swayed by the person that signs your check, okay? Do I think that this woman should be charged the way she is? I think they need to turn her into a witness. She looks like a lovely lady that was just doing what she was told. And it sounds like she even questioned, but was misinformed. Or unless she knew there was trouble. I don't know. I don't know. If there's culpability, then there's culpability. But sometimes people don't think it's criminal, and it's just, did she know it's criminal? And at the end of the day, ignorance to the law is not a defense. There is that, and I get that. But again, you're talking about a lady that's being paid, that's having somebody influence over her, right? And so that has to be taken into consideration, in my opinion, for fair adjudication of these charges.
Now, Bias, from the day her repayment was due. Pittman asks Bias for urgent help, telling her she needed a $2,500 check dated January of that year and needed it to match a specific account. Pittman also telling Bias how to doctor a bank statement by blacking out certain parts of it. Bias then asks, "Will this work?" Pittman responds, "Absolutely." Bias allegedly then sends Pittman the image, and Pittman replies, "Sent." Investigators say Bias later.
So, she knew she was doing, it sounds like she knows she was doing something wrong. But either way, the point being is now this state lawmaker in Oklahoma now has felony charges, and there's more people involved in it. And again, I think that if we're looking at this, at the end of the day, even her assistant knew, because she even asked, "Will this work?" So I had misunderstood it. I thought she was asking something else when I first reviewed it. And I remember her asking something. I thought, maybe she's not, involved. But, when you hear it again, yeah, she is. I don't pay taxes and I'm pissed. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of people that don't pay back. And Mama always taught us, what goes on in the dark comes to light. So I guess we get a lot of light. Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? It's a shame, because my frustration lies with the fact that these people, they don't care who they hurt. This is real money for real families, you guys. This was a tax campaign, stuff, but there are campaign laws. But we're not just talking about her. We're talking about the fraud in general, the fraud in all of the states. These are real lives that this money is going to. These are real people that are in peril. These are real families that need help. And their money is being laundered from them. And we, the people, are providing it to them. It's not fair. And you cannot tell me that there are anybody in this, real Americans, especially the ones that are on benefits, that are okay with illegal stealing their benefits. You cannot tell me that they are okay with this. And anybody that's on benefits that are not, that are offended by this, this deportation, well, they're stealing your benefits, boo. I just want to put that into perspective. I'm not on entitlements. I'm not on benefits, okay, of any kind. Of any kind. So none of this affects me at all. So again, it's not, these people aren't stealing, they're stealing my, my taxpayer dollars, but they're not stealing the food and the money out of my mouth. They've already taken it through the taxway, right? They're taking it out of the people that are entitled to this stuff. Right? The babies and the mommies and the families that are entitled to these benefits, that's who they're stealing from. And you know what? It seems like a lot of them might be out in the streets supporting these people. So you're supporting them stealing out of your own pocketbook. It's insane. They're stealing from all of us. So we're not okay with this. Anyways, getting on. We know that we're going to be going away from these. These are the two updated, and then we're going to get right into our conversation, which starts off with manipulation and stuff like that. But this is something I saw this morning, and it sounds like the mayor still won't cooperate. So, and intentionally inciting and inflaming things in his community. I really do believe he is in violation of the law, and I do believe that he needs to be held accountable federally for his violation of the law. But when will that come? I have no earthly idea. But until then, we're not going to listen to the whole 8 minutes. I think we are going to listen. We listen to we're going to only be listening to about 2 minutes, a little under 3 minutes of this.
Jacob Fry still isn't budging on his refusal to cooperate with ICE.
We were never going to agree, and we have not agreed to enforce federal immigration law. Why?
They're not required to enforce federal immigration law, but they're not allowed to turn their back on immigration enforcement and them getting injured on their streets. They are the enforcement body. So when the officers call for help, they're not showing up. They have stand down orders. That's creating the problem, because now they've got to take 15 people in there to protect those agents that need to go and do that operation because of his orders to stand down and to allow these officers to be hurt and or killed by their citizens. So he's creating the problem and then trying to act like the martyr. Look what I'm doing. I'm sad. Yeah, okay, you can take that and shove that. Anyways, long story short, this man is committing federal crimes, and it's starting to rub on the American people, because some of the American people that know what the hell is going on, some of the American people that know the law, know that what these people are doing is criminal. And we have laws to arrest them, yet no arrests are coming, and it's pissing us off. Okay? Let me be very clear to everybody. It is pissing a lot of people off that we know that these are crimes and nobody is being held accountable. And why is it pissing us off? Because it's showing there's two tiers of justice in this country, despite our fights and efforts to level the playing fields for over 2 decades. They're showing us all that work means absolutely nothing, because today is the reckoning day where we need those laws, where we need people not to have 2 tiers of justice, because this is where we're taking the deep state on, and this deep state has freaking activist judges in almost every single level of our judiciary. It's sickening and disgusting. And I'm just, there's just a lot of us that are over it. We're just truly, truly over it. And then we have this hothead here that is actually interfering with ICE. He's engaging and inciting his residents to attack them, and then he's providing them no help from the law enforcement to keep those people back from hurting them, creating this toxic environment where people will lose their life, and people have lost their life as a result of it. And it's the same thing. This man still hasn't learned his lesson yet. He still puts his citizens in harm's way, and he still begs for another one to lose their life. It is sickening. It is sickening. And our government, knowing damn good and well they have rights to arrest this man, are still allowing him to put other people's lives in jeopardy with his rhetoric and his criminal conduct as a guise of being a mayor. He's not a mayor. He is a criminal. He is a felon. He's committed felonies in front of us, in front of the entire world, and we still can't arrest him. Why? Because of the 2-tier justice system we have in this country that everybody tries to convince us we don't have. That's why. That's why.
First off, it's not our job. I want our police officers doing the important work of keeping Minneapolis.
Oh, he's going to say keeping Minneapolis safe. Well, how safe is Alec? How safe is Renee? Because the last time I checked on both of those people, they're dead in a morgue. And this man failed to keep them safe. He did. He failed to keep them safe because he failed to keep ICE agents safe. And if he would have had his people in between them and the agents, both of those people would have been alive and would still be here today to run their gator. But he made sure that wasn't possible because of this right here.
Residents stay safe. I don't want.
So we're done with his nonsense. I'm not even going to even remotely. This is right here. He is the police union president out here in Minnesota, and he wants his voice heard on this matter. And I think his voice in this matter is spot on. Spot on. And again, police union president of Minnesota.
Federation. He joins us now. Mark, thank you for joining us. One of the biggest points of contention has been this idea that ICE wants to apprehend criminal illegal aliens that are in prisons and jails. Now, the Department of Corrections says they've honored all those retainers and handed people over as they end their term, their obligated term of sentence. But I guess part of the problem is that jails and prisons are different. Jails are ran by counties and cities. So have you seen any cooperation?
We have all of our people, whether they're arrested in the city or arrested in the county, are taken to our county jail. And I think that needs to be the process. I think there only needs to be one hub for individuals to be at in a county, because unless the county is extra large and very populous, then it makes sense to have one or two different jails. But in a situation where you have a hub, you can have a lot of services at that hub, so you're not spending a lot of extra money. For example, if you have a large enough hub, you can bring in a doctor and a nurse. And how important is that? Well, the majority of people that go into jail typically have a substance abuse problem of some sort. Most of those substance abuse problems are things like H, OPS, and Fent. So you've got to go through a process, a medical process, to make them safe enough to enter into the jail. And that process is very, very, very expensive if it's needed to be had out of the jail. When you have to do that in a hospital or something like that. Well, if you have a large enough hub, you can bring some of those services in and have those services full time inside the jail versus paying exorbitant fees to have those outsourced. So I believe in the hub theory, finding a place in a desolate area, making it huge to encompass everything. Like if you have 3 or 4 counties, all of those people need to go over to the county jail, and that's where they have the hub and everything like that. So anyways, that's just my opinion on the matter, but each state does things a lot differently. Even counties in the states do some things a little bit differently. So just suggestions of things that I see working.
Cooperation there, or do you see anything that would prevent cooperation there? What are the jailers and the sheriffs telling you?
Well, thank you for having me. I think the only thing that's going to prevent cooperation is our political elected officials. It's up to these sheriffs and local government officials, county boards, to dictate whether or not they're going to cooperate with these ICE detainers. I think any reasonable person agrees that is a reasonable solution to turn these people over to ICE when they're released from our jails. Just think about this one time. These are people that have not only committed crimes in our state, meaning local crimes, they're also wanted federally. I don't see where there should be much debate about whether or not those people should be turned over to ICE upon their release from our jails.
Real quick on that. So is the argument that if someone is picked up for suspected crimes, put into a jail, are some of these local leaders saying, well, they're not actually criminals yet, so we're not going to hand them over? Like, what is the basis of their argument for not cooperating?
They're voters.
I wish I had the answer to that. I think they're just not letting our federal partners know that there are people in their jails that are wanted federally, and they're just releasing them back into the community, which makes things more dangerous, because then our federal partners have to go out and apprehend them. It'd be so much easier if our local counties would hand these people over to the feds. There shouldn't be much.
I want to make it very clear to our audience, we don't have a choice whether to enforce our federal laws or not. These are laws that our Congress put on the books. Our hands are tied in the matter, okay? Our hands are tied in the matter. We must enforce our laws in this country because, again, there should not be any 2 tiers of justice, and there are. And it's breaking that down brick by brick to make sure we have a level playing field for all of us that reside on this land. And right now, it's not. It's lopsided, and we all know it. We all know it. These people don't belong here. They broke into our house, and we've called law enforcement to remove them from our house. Any other person that sees it any other way is just wrong. Because you know what? When you have somebody over, you invite them in. They didn't break in. And if they break into your house, what is the first thing you do? You call the law. Why? Because you want them removed. No different than the rest of us Americans that want our jobs going to American people. People that belong here deserves the jobs of these lands. They deserve to have that money in their pocket raising their American family. Every time we have an illegal here, we're taking money out of everybody's pocket. And you know who it's hurting the most? Our next generations. Our next generations. So something has got to give, in my opinion. In my opinion. Let's keep listening.
There.
Mark, Anita Vogel here. As we've been reporting, Tom Homan, border czar, is on the ground there. Here's what he says he wants to see happen in order to reduce the number of federal agents in Minnesota. Take a listen.
The president wants to de-escalate the situation. We're going to have a mass deportation, but we're going to prioritize.
We're going to have a mass deportation. Period. Okay? Why? Because it's our right. Because that is the law of our land. We are law and order. We don't look the other way when somebody breaks the law. Actually, this channel specifically states, if you see something, say something. So if you know of somebody illegally living in your community, it's time to report them. It's time to report them. And people may not like that. I don't care. They can come back the right way. They can deport themselves and come back the right way. And not only that, I didn't even know this. I found this out by Christy Nome. They're giving these people free plane tickets and $2,600 a piece. Most of these people don't even have $26 in their account, and you're talking about $26 per person. And then they have the rights to come back here, the right way through the right process later. But if they have to go and throw you out of this country, you will never be allowed here through the correct way ever again. So I think that if you are an illegal that's here and you have a family here, why rock the boat? You're being asked to leave. Leave. Get that money. Use that money to get you back over here the right way. You know what I'm saying? That's my suggestion. But the way that some of this stuff is being done, and there are some good people out there. I will tell you, over 2 million people, opted to self-deport. And for those people that did it the right way, God bless you. I know that it probably wasn't easy, but it was the right decision because, the American people are asking you to leave. Something's not right here. And here's why it's being forced. It's not just because they're here illegal. That has a lot to do with it. You don't break into some place and think you're going to live there. It's like me going and breaking into the White House and thinking that I can just now live in this beautiful White House, right? That you can't do that. Okay? If we could just go and break into any house and call it our own, tell me who wouldn't be sitting here breaking into mansions and saying, this is my piece of paradise, right? Right? So we can't have this. Period. Anybody logical understands this. Anybody logical understands this. But more importantly, it comes down to the 2 million that came over our border that didn't sign up for any benefits. And these are people that had no purpose here. This tells us that we have about 2 million defectors in our nation. That should scare the shit out of everybody. Okay? And from my understanding, only about 10% of those people have been identified. And you guys may not, understand what that means. That means that there's 2 million people. We have no idea who the hell they are. That means they could have come from Iraq, Iran, North Korea, China. There's a multitude of different places. They could be sleeper cells. Can you imagine having 2 million sleeper cells in this country? That's a scary proposition in the world environment that we're in right now. That is a scary proposition. And we don't know what these people are doing or where these people are at. So people that are here illegal, and you need to understand, you got to go. We've got to find out who is all in this country. You've got to go. So do it the easy way or do it the hard way. But if you've got family here, I'm telling you, your best path forward is to take the money and leave on your own, because this is not going to stop. This is not going to stop. There's millions and millions of people just like me pushing this very, very hard, applying as much pressure around this country as we can possibly apply. You know, I'm sorry we're here, but you got to go.
The arrest of criminals and public safety threats. Meeting with the governor and AG and Mayor Fry, here's what we came out with. The state prison system will honor our detainers. So if we get that cooperation, which we're working on, we got some commitments here, that means we can draw down on the number of agents there because we're in the jails. And that's what President Trump wants.
Yeah, he's really urging this cooperation between federal and state officials. Would local police support this move?
If you trust me enough, you can send me the information by email and I will make sure something is done. That's about as much as I can offer.
Oh, I would say wholeheartedly most local police will definitely support that move. I will say since Borders-R Homan's arrival in the Twin Cities, the temperature has come down quite a bit.
Good.
It sounds like he's had some very productive meetings with city leadership on both sides of the river in the Twin Cities.
That's good. We love hearing that. You know, we love hearing temperature being lowered. That's where we need to be. We need to keep lowering that temperature until everything is cohesive and everybody's working with everybody. That's where we need to be.
Cities here and police leaders and some of the local electeds. That's what we need. We need to cooperate a little bit because they're not going anywhere. And
okay, you guys hear that? Because they're not going anywhere. Tom Homan has put his foot down there. Because everybody wants them just out of the... No, we're not. We're going to enforce federal law. Period. It's whether we're doing it the easy way or doing it the hard way. And we can show you we're willing to do it the hard way. And the hard way is costing American lives. You know, it's not what they want. It's what they're being forced to be put up with. And let's face it, these officers are trained not to go home in the body bag, right? That's the way they're trained. It's eat or be eaten. So if you put an officer in fear for their personal safety or death, they are justified to use lethal force against you. They're not required to wait until you pull a firearm on them or hurt them with great bodily harm or death before they are allowed to meet you with equal, you know, it doesn't work that way. They only have to, if they're in fear for their personal safety, they have met the elements to use lethal force. And these people out there in the streets are definitely putting these officers in fear for their personal safety. So like I had been saying long before it even got back to Alex, these officers are showing great restraint because what I have seen so far, they've had the rights to literally lay several people out, and they have restrained themselves. But when you bring a loaded gun to a resisting party, well, you're probably going to need a toe tag. And like I said, if you're going to be out in these streets, bring a toe tag with you. Make sure your mommy and daddy's telephone number is put on that toe tag so we know who to call to identify your bodies and your remains. I'm not going to quit saying that. I want it to be shocking, okay? I want my rhetoric to be shocking because at the end of the day, I want people to understand that this is reality. These are officers with loaded guns, okay? You're interfering, and when you jeopardize their life, it's going to be a very bad day for you, not them. And still, they think that they keep doing this. This is the insanity of it. They keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results from ICE, and they're not getting it. Okay? Because what they're doing is not effective. It's loud, it's obnoxious, it's irritating for the rest of America, it's irritating to watch, but let's face it, it's not effective. What have they changed so far? They've done nothing. They've been out there in the freezing cold for over 2 months, and it's accomplished squat. It's accomplished two dead Americans. It's accomplished absolutely nothing. These people are idiots. That's just my opinion. Have your own. I don't care. Okay, let's get back to the regularly scheduled show. So anyways, guys, this is what we're going to be talking about today, is this fake influencer outrage for for grifts. These activists that we see out in the street, I don't even know if you want to call them activists. In my opinion, they are domestic terrorists. They're not activists. I'm an activist. You've never seen me act like this, nor will I ever in a history of being Bullhorn Betty, Andrew Griffin, activist, advocate, professional protester ever act like what you've seen on these TVs over the last several months. These activists aren't heroes. They're click farmers. Outrage equals revenue. Algorithms love anger. They love emotion. They love drama. And these people milk it daily. AI fakes, paid consultants, turn fury into followers. No principle, just profits. Hey, Turkey Man, good morning. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. So here we go, folks. Here we go. Let me get moving. So this is something that came back, I think this was, 2005? And it says, outrage or single issue influencers often pay a calculated game using AI tools, sneaky software, and high-paid consultants. Let me put this back up higher. High-paid consultants to fake authenticity and maximize profits. AI agents scan real-time data, generate provocative threads, suggest outrage angles, and scripts opinions to game algorithms. Consultants coach them on framing narratives for peak engagement, turning supposed convictions into cash cows. What are we doing right now to Hollywood? We're breaking their pocketbooks because we've stopped supporting them because of this. So what have they been doing? They've been going to where? Social media, right? Being paid for outrage. Think about this. Remember, we didn't think of, like, when Beyonce came out and supported Kamala Harris to run for the presidency, we thought that was genuine. We truly thought it was genuine that Beyonce really wanted Kamala Harris to be president and that she was putting her name to help support her. Do you know that that was all bought and paid for? It was inappropriately bought and paid for. I want to say it was like, how many millions of dollars? I don't even remember how many millions of dollars. It was multiple millions of dollars. She paid Beyonce to say that. That wasn't genuine. So if they're being paid, and they have to be paid to support a member of the presidency or to support a campaign, if they have to be paid for that, then that support is not authentic or genuine. It's bought and paid for. Much like a lot of this unrest that we're seeing sowed around the country, right? So what do? Consultants coach them on framing narratives for peak engagements, turning all of this into cash cows. Bot networks amplified fake likes and replies. And by the way, all social media platforms know this is being done, and they have mechanisms in place, but for some reason, they always break when it comes to the lefts. They can generate all these fake accounts, and you try to go fake. I want you guys to do this. I want you guys to put this theory to a test. I want you to try to set up a fake YouTube account without a phone number. I want you to try, even with Google Voice, Google whatever, try it. Try it with those free text numbers. Try it. See how hard it is to set up a fake account on YouTube. And then you tell me they don't have policies and procedures in place to know which accounts are fake and which ones aren't. Yet they allow this to do it. They actually have things that find bots. Even on X, they have programs to help find bots. Yet they still don't block them. They keep telling us they're doing everything they can to prevent them. No, they're not. Because why is it so preventable for normal Joes, but not for other people? Makes you wonder. It almost seems like social media oligarchs are complicit. Just saying. I don't see how they would be able to get around all of these constraints in the algorithm unless somebody's helping them behind the scenes. So we've got that. Then the bots amplify the fake likes in the reply while coordinatingly pushing and paid boost manipulate trends. Algorithms tweak flood feeds with doom, scrolling content, fueling misinformation, polarization for ads, subscriptions, and sponsorships. It's emotional exploitation, not the truth. Demand transparency, question the hype, and starve the fake machines. Choose real voices over manufactured rage, folks. And trust me. Oh, Oven Baby, thank you. I appreciate that. She says, from Chatham County Police, still here eating pizza and popcorn, money from them. Oh, good gracious. I can't stand. That chief of police needs to go bye-bye. We got to figure out, because he should have been gone. We had one foot out the damn door, and I heard they kept him and fired the county sheriff, which the county sheriff was good people, and that freaking chief of police was corrupted as shit. I'm so sick of the corruption around this country. I really am. I really, really am. I can't keep a real YouTube or Facebook. No membership. Had to prove I'm a real human being. Why? Because they don't like my mouth of truth. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, go try to sign up, try to get a fake account. It's harder than it looks. You've got to go to ChatGPT or other places to find out how to back, and now they've got so many closed back doors. You can't even backdoor manufacturing. So how are there so many people out here with these fake accounts and keep producing fake accounts and bots and stuff like that when they nobody can do that except certain people? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's showing me that there's corruption and fraud behind the scenes. People are being helped by these oligarchs or somebody that works for them. So nonprofits behind the LA riots donated almost $500,000 to support Newsom's campaign. It then received $34 million in state funding. I'm sure this is all just a coincidence. So now you're starting to see the attribution of these laundered funds in shell shell games that they're playing with our money from California and other places. We've seen it in Minnesota. We also have ActBlue is currently facing several significant legal and regulatory challenges, primarily focused on the donations and the security of internal management. So, key legal and investigative actions. The Department of Justice investigation. President Trump signed an executive order in April of 2025, so it hasn't even been a full year, directing AG Pam Bondi, sorry, had to do that, to investigate ActBlue for potential straw donor scheme and foreign contributions. Congressional subpoenas in July, 3 months after that, 3 committees, Judiciary Oversight and Administration, jointly subpoenaed ActBlue after the platform suspended its voluntary cooperation regarding alleged fraudulent donations. State-level probes, multiple Republican Attorney General, including Ken Paxton of Texas, launched investigations. Paxton made a criminal referral to the Department of Justice in late 2024, citing evidence of suspicious donations made. Internal legal turmoil. April 2025, the House committee report alleges that ActBlue's legal team kneecapped a wave of resignations, including general counsel, and raised concerns about potential whistleblower retaliation. So there's some really strong mafia-type stuff attributed and associated with this ActBlue, which has been funding and sowing a lot of stuff around this country. And of course, this infamous photo of people setting our country ablaze, waving Mexican flags, like this isn't an invasion, right? This doesn't look like an invasion on our soil at all. So this was, the Bureau of Investigations and the anti-ICE agents. Now, anti-ICE riots. And mind you, we put this, we stopped this, we nipped this in the bud real quick. Real quick. So again, crowds on demand, higher budget request for anti-ICE riots. Oh, let's not forget. Hold on. Where is it? That's ActBlue. Here it is. Where's my crowd? Here it is. Crowds for hire. Look above my head. Crowds for hire. I see that. Crowds for hire. Pull this down. Oops. Nope. There we go. Crowds for hire. You guys can see that, right? Right here. You see that, man? Crowds for hire. There really are businesses. So I want to strip this illusion. When we see these big, huge, beautiful buses pulling up and all these thugs getting out of these buses with these pre-made signs that look like they're very expensive, knowing that these people probably live in the basement of mommy and daddy's house, how in the hell are they paying for a bus? How in the hell are they paying for signs? And you know that they're being bought and paid for. And then we find out there's things, crowds on demand. Crowds on demand. Let's read what Wikipedia. Rent a crowd. Crowd on Demand, an American publicity firm that provides clients with hired actors that poses as fan paparazzi, unpaid. They also hire actors as unpaid protesters and professional paid protesters. The company operates in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Washington, D.C. Interesting. Huh. Interesting. The lucrative business of crowds to hire. This was from 2015. 2015. People for Stronger America, right? Next time you're watching a campaign rally for politics or glitzy premiere, take a closer look at the enthusiastic faces. Good gracious. Enthusiastic faces waving banners at the front. I can promise you, when we were at the rallies with Donald J. Trump, there was not a paid actor, one. Out of everything that I've done around this country, following Team Trump, I didn't get paid one single dollar, and I helped set up chairs in those rallies. I worked. I donated my time free of charge whenever they needed it. We never got paid a damn dime. So I will tell you, this is not what Trump does. We don't need to do this bullshit. Just saying, not playing. But his startup, Crowds on Demand, launched in 2012. You guys recognize the date of that? What's so notable in 2012? Think about it. 2012. What was notable in 2012? It was the last year President Obama was president, right? Or not president. He was... How did that go? That was the start of his next election. So he was getting primed up. This Crowds on Demand was getting primed up. Anyways, long story short, that was the last administration of Obama. Okay? And now we have this Crowds on Demand, which is still working to this day. I find it a little odd. Anyways, let's keep moving. Has established itself as a popular resource for any party who's in need of guests. The company started as a way of up-and-coming celebrities to get more attention. Explains a UC. So they started this to make celebrities feel good. Of course they did. The narcissism of celebrities. And then it just became a rioting rink. Got it. Okay, so that was started back in 2012. Let's see, what's this? The CEO Crowd on Demand offers $20 million to provide protesters for upcoming Good Trouble Lives On demonstration. $20 million. This is for July 2025. $20 million, right? $20 million. This is outrageous. And people are literally buying into this, thinking that these people are authentic and legitimate. Nothing that you see. This is all an illusion, folks. This is a psych op at its finest core, is granular part than anything I have ever seen in my life. And we've got people that aren't very strong up here buying into the bullshit. And even when I prove to you over and over again, these are bought and paid for protesters, people are going to still believe that this is genuine and a genuine cause for outrage, and it is not. It is not. It is not. And actually, that puts me to my next thing, George Soros, the Open Society Foundation. In late 2025, the Open Society Foundation, founded by George Soros, became the subject of several high-profile investigations. The directive from the U.S. Department of Justice and others and other regional authorities. So in September of 2025, the end of Obama. Thank you, Sparky Doo. I appreciate that. That's what I was thinking. They were getting prepared to use this on-demand crowds for unrest. And it's at the end of Obama's term. It's at the end of Obama's term, folks. Cut it out. This is all Obama's doing still to this day. That man hated America. He still hates America to this day. He's a racist, and so is his wife. He was the worst thing for America that America could have. He was literally the devil in sheep's clothing. And I still believe that to this day. The purpose, the DOJ instructed U.S. attorneys in at least 7 states, now New York, California, and Illinois, to prepare investigations into the Open Society Foundation. Potential charges: prosecutors were told to consider charges such as racketeering, RICO, material support for terrorism, arson, and wire fraud. The basis for the investigation is a directive cited a report by Conservative Capital Research Center, which alleges the foundation provided over $80 million in pro-terror and extremist groups, specifically mentioning climate and Palestinian solidarity organizations, bought and paid for outrage. $80 million. Texas investigates. The August 2025 Texas Attorney General Paxton lost an investigation into Soros-funded Texas Majority PAC, alleging potential bribery and illegal fundraising, which doesn't surprise me, seeing how we see all of these Democrat politicians going to jail for fraud and stealing from their own campaigns and all this other bull crap because they don't know how to keep their hands out of the cookie jar. Seems like a cultural issue. So then we find out outrage, single issue influencers often play calculated games, and we move on from that, right? We've learned that $500 million up to $35 million was funded for outrage. ActBlue is under investigation. George Soros is under investigation. We're finding out this that happened in LA months back was funded. And an investigation has 5 ActBlue funded groups responsible for Tesla protesters. We forgot about this. Troublemakers, Disruption Project, Rise and Resist, Indivisible Project, and Democratic Socialists of America. ActBlue founders, including George Soros, Reid Hoffman. Wasn't Reid Hoffman also in the Epstein files? And if so, why isn't anybody going after him? Where's the outrage? Hey, you Epstein freaks. Why aren't you beating up these people that were clearly in the Epstein files? Herbert Sandler, Patricia Baumann, and Leah Hunt Hendricks. ActBlue is currently under investigation for allowing foreign and illegal donations in criminal violation of campaign financing regulations. So they're in a lot of hot water. They're in a lot of hot water, folks. You know? Soros Open Society dumps million into protest groups via ActBlue, Arabella. Novell Singham's Shangri-La, or whatever the name is, network funding anti-ICE chaos per Congress probe. And Elon exposed ActBlue funders behind protest, now under criminal probe. So it's just getting a little bit crazy. President Trump's deportations roll on, riots won't stop them, support ICE, demand probes, and share if you're pro-order. We're all should be pro-law and order, especially on this channel right here, because we see what lack of law and order does, what lack of policy does, right? 90% of our children that are missing in this country right now on cases that we cover, the Department of Children and Family Services was already involved, yet never saved the children. And I feel like this is a repeat. It sounds a little crazy, but I feel like somehow this is a repeat of that same failure, right? Just at a different level. It's like no matter how we look at our society, you involve the federal government, you know it's going to fail or be riddled with fraud. You know that. And yet they know that. And they still never can stop it, but they still keep rolling it out and rolling it out and rolling out. You know why? Because they don't care. If they weren't actively benefiting from this crap, they wouldn't keep rolling it out. So obviously the politicians are getting some type of gain by stealing from the people or other people stealing from the people, right? We know the entire Somali population was funding their politicians in Minnesota, and Minnesota was just fine with taking those funds that were being stolen by the American people. Let's not forget. Let's not forget. Oh, good gracious. So we're exposing the dark money. We're exposing the fake influencer grift. We're exposing where the money and riot machines are coming from. We're showing you the dark money trail. And we're showing you why we need these immigration policies. President Trump presses on with the deportation surge despite riots. ICE neutralizes threats like Betty, whether you agree with it or not. At the end of the day, this man was actively involved in a crime by trying to stop or interfere with a federal investigation. When he was being arrested, he resisted arrest while having a loaded firearm on him. That meant all of the criteria necessary to use lethal force in this matter. Now, it's unfortunate he chose to resist. Had he not resisted, I'm sure this would have been a lot different. There was another man that came out and he said, he did a video and he said, look, ICE is across the street right now arresting somebody. And he said, you know what's funny? He's like, if you don't mess with them, they don't mess with you. He said, so I'm just going to let them do their thing, as he pops another chip in his mouth. And that's the way it needs to be. That needs to be. Right? But at the end of the day, we're not seeing that. And we're seeing other officers having to turn their back on officers in need, violating their own moral fabric in their own personal life, being forced not to help another man in blue. Trust me, these officers don't want this. This is being forced upon them. So let's keep moving through this.
And while Refuse Fascism is denying paying any protesters in our nation's capital, our commander-in-chief continues to say he doubts all demonstrators are legitimate. President Trump posting this on Truth Social on Friday, quote, "It's just been found that the Democrats are buying protesters in order to fight my attack on crime." This claim not yet proven by the president. We're still waiting on evidence that the crowds of protesters
we got evidence
are receiving money to be there. But the business...
I just want to let you know that right here, this was from 5 months ago. I can tell you the evidence is there. That's why we're bringing it up here.
Of protest organizing does exist. One company, Crowds on Demand, markets itself as providing services, quote, for impactful advocacy campaigns, demonstrations, PR stunts, crowds for hire.
PR stunts. This is propaganda. This is propaganda on steroids, folks. I hope you guys understand that.
Where we look back at our major news coverage on the most important topics and personalities of our.
The protests there in Southern California have the Trump administration and Republican lawmakers seeking an investigation into where protest organizers are getting their funding. And not just the ongoing anti-ICE protests, but also the pro-Palestine demonstrations that took place on college campuses over the past few years. Correspondent Rich McHugh is live to try and connect the dots here. So, Rich, what have you learned?
These are illusions, folks. Everything we are seeing is a flippin' illusion. This is not taboo. This is not anything other than what it is. A freaking illusion to try to sway you to think that what's going on, people don't really want. And it's not true. The difference is we're not paying paid agitators or activists to go get out in the street when they need to be out working, right? So we're not out there. They're making these big spectacles because the louder you are, the most likely you're the one doing whatever you're complaining about, right? Anyways.
Hi, Nicole. Well, first of all, this is really complicated. The big question for everybody as these protests have unfolded in Los Angeles and across the country was who's funding them and who's behind all this. Now we know that the head of the FBI and the IRS have somebody in their crosshairs. So we took a look at this person. This is an American businessman, a former billionaire living in Shanghai at the moment. And according to the House Oversight Committee, they tell News Nation, he will be called to testify about his ties to the CCP, his funding of nonprofits, anti-Israel groups, protests on college campuses, and at least one of the groups connected to these Los Angeles protests. His name is Neville Roy Singham. He's an American who sold his company in 2017 for close to $1 billion. So let me try and connect the dots further. Reports show that he funded groups like the People's Forum, that's based in New York City, to the tune of millions. The People's Forum has deep personnel overlap with the Party of Socialism and Liberation,
Tampa Bay,
known
of course.
as the PSL.
He's got a Tampa Bay
it's a
shirt
communist
on.
political party that has organized large-scale anti-ICE protests in Los Angeles. Now, Alex Goldenberg with the Network Contagion Research Institute has been unpacking Singham's influence and funding for 2 years. Here he is.
He has a footprint in India, South Africa, London, and is quite active in the United States.
We're going to find out he's a dealer of something unsavory. When you get that much money and you still didn't reinvest it, then you're investing it in something, especially spending millions and millions of dollars. Believe it or not, even having $1 billion, you start spending millions and millions of dollars like it's water, you're not going to have. So he's obviously has some type of investments going on with that money. So let's look. Somebody's saying, look up this person's name. So let's see what we got here. Neville Roy Singham. There he is. Let's go into the AI mode. See what we got. So Neville Roy Singham is an American businessman and social activist known for founding global IT consultant agency ThoughtWorks. And more recently, his role is socialist benefactor. So he wants to take your money and wants to own your property, but he wants to give you a siphon, probably $20 to live off of while he does that. Because the one thing about communists and socialists is they never want to give up their stuff. They just want you to give up all yours. Always remember that. So ThoughtWorks, founded in 1993, served as its chairman up until 2017 when he sold his private equity firm for approximately $785 million. Since the sale, he has had no involvement with the firm. Earlier in his so after the $785 million, this is not going to keep him forever when he's spending $20 and $30 million on stupid stuff. So he's got to be, and with him being out of the United States, it sounds like he's probably involved in some unsavory, illegal work, in my opinion. But I could be wrong. Singham currently resides in China, Shanghai, China, where he allegedly is a central figure in the global network that promotes Chinese government interest. He probably was a spy. He should never be allowed back in this country again. Federal investigations as early as 2006. He's under investigation by the U.S. government for allegedly funding anti-ICE protests and other civil unrests like Minnesota and Los Angeles. So he's funding this stuff. Congressional scrutiny. Multiple committees, including the House Oversight Committee and the Ways Means Committee, are examining his ties to the Chinese Communist Party and whether he has violated Foreign Agents Registration Act, FARA, because he's acting as a, which I'm sure he probably has. Funding network, he reportedly funnels millions through a web of nonprofits and shell companies like the People Forum, Code Pink, and Party of Socialism and Liberations. So the Code Pink, again, being funded by this animal. So it's all paid outrage. It's not authentic. Even Code Pink, not authentic. The Party for Socialism and Liberation, it's not authentic. They're being paid to act this way. International issues. So now you know who's probably funding MGL, just FYI. In India, he has been linked to news outlet NewsClick, which faced investigation for allegedly receiving funds to spread Chinese propaganda. So he's one of them. And he's the one sowing all this unrest in our country.
Funding a network of nonprofit organizations to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. And he's not just funding activism. What we find is he's funding and exporting an authoritarian-aligned ideology under the banner of like American nonprofit legitimacy.
Now, just last month, Senator Grassley sounded the alarm on Singham and the People's Forum nonprofit, pointing to foreign...
Grassley's got to go. If you're in Grassley's district and when he becomes up for election, he's got to go, okay? He's too old. He's causing too many problems. I want everybody out of the way that's preventing America from fully being able to be moved forward. And I believe everybody is not being moved forward. This country is not moving forward quick enough. We've got to get it moving forward. He's got to go. He's got to go. He's causing too many problems.
Influence from Singham and the CCP. Last year, then Senator Marco Rubio and Lindsey Graham asked the IRS to revoke tax-exempt status for the People's...
Did you guys hear the story about Lindsey Graham that just broke? I don't know if it's true or not, so I'm just... I heard he lacks male gigolos. And orders them frequently. Now, I'm not all into everybody's business. I just hope he ain't doing it on the taxpayer's dime. I'm just, Isn't he married? Isn't he married? I want to see if this is true. Lindsey Graham buying gigolo. It's not a joke. Not a joke. Oh, what does it say? It says, not a joke. Lindsey Graham has been buying gigolos off Rent Boy. Is there a place called Rent Boy? The hell? Now, I don't know. This is it's starting to get so bad. I don't know. Let's see. I don't like him. I'm going to do whatever I want. No, I mean, everybody has the ability to do whatever they want, but isn't he married? Isn't he married? I don't know. A stunning escalation. Lindsey Graham issue blunt warning. Peace and all. Now all of a sudden he's flooding some good advice. I saw it. Bank record shows Lindsey Graham laundering significant Ukraine funds via Latvia into his account per ex-CIA officer. That's what we're hearing. I saw this yesterday about him, or the day before, about him being, ordering some male prostitutes. What does it say? Lindsey Graham is doing a live interview drunk. Doesn't sound like he's good. Payout day. Here it is. Jan 30th. So when payday, you can call Lindsey Graham and drop a little little boy. I need to stop. I don't know if this, I'm still trying to find out. Is it true? Is it true? I read it yesterday. I'm not seeing a whole lot. Maybe it's satire. Maybe it's satire. I don't know. Oh, good gracious. Oh, good gracious. I don't know if it's satire or not. I really don't. I just saw Senator Lindsey Graham and it just brought it up. I was just watching it yesterday.
New York nonprofit financed by saying, quote, these groups have engaged in violent anti-Semitic riots in many cities across the United States. So to summarize this, you have China, you have violent anti-Israel protests and anti-ICE protests. The nexus of this is this network funded by this person, Singham.
So we see a network's being funded. Oops. There we go.
Funded by somebody in the Democratic Party. Because who the fuck has the time and the money and the care to make something like this?
Yep.
I just got sent this photo from a friend of mine who actually has an acquaintance who's actively in Minneapolis right now and took a photo of this outside of their window in their building. And you want me to believe that just some random bitch from Minneapolis took the time to create this huge ass sign. Which, if you guys don't know this, a standard sign like this that you would create at like Kinko's or Michael's or whoever does the printing shop. Not the shitty ones like this that people hand make, but like the actual printed out ones. Yeah, those things are like 20, 30 bucks a pop, unless you get like the really shitty material. So to make something like this, bro, you're talking thousands of dollars.
Yep.
Which most people are not going to spend thousands of dollars on a motherfucking sign like this. So
excuse the language, but she made a point, okay? She made a point. This is a very important point, and honestly wish more people would pause and reflect on it, because how long will people keep mistaking manipulation for activism? How long will they allow strangers on the internet to dictate their emotions, their enemies, their bitterness, their outrage? And what exactly do they gain after fighting endless battles for people who don't even know they exist? What you said about underrated followers is true. Some influencers treat their audience like a private army, not like human beings with their own minds. Like Queen Bee, Chlamydia, go out there and get them, right? Sick them on. They have to be, and I've always told you, I thought they were political. I thought that these were leftists that were doing what they were doing to me, because it seemed like they were taking the same playbook I was seeing politically and using against me. Why should one person's opinion turn arbitrary Nigerians into online militants? Why should grown adults fear disagreeing with somebody who claimed to be fighting for them? Something is wrong somewhere. And the sad part is this pattern keeps repeating, and people who desperately need hope get exploited by people who desperately need an audience. It becomes an emotional trap. They feed on anger daily because someone they admire taught me that anger is a political strategy. Then they wake up every morning ready to insult anyone who doesn't pray in the same political scent. What kind of life is this? Very well said, in my opinion. And we were learning about these things and about Lindsey Graham, which I don't know if it's true or not. So that's kind of the live I was able to piece together fairly quickly. We had the lives come up from our program that kind of produces our show for us. And I opted not to take them. Those will be garnered later this afternoon. I'm going to try my ass off to get this camera to work right, get whatever I need to get done with it so we can have the camera. If not, this camera's working fine right now. I just want a better quality show. That's all. And it's telling me if we don't want the spikes in this and the spikes in that we got to do this. So, Gramnesty. Oh, that's funny. That's great. That's great. Dear Lord, Lindsey Graham. I know. I don't know if it's true. I might be spreading around misinformation or satire from somebody, but it came across my X feed, and I'm like, what? What? And I looked at it. It looked legit, and I'm like, I didn't think Lindsey Graham swung that way, but hey, maybe he does. To each their own. To each their own. Again, I just want to make sure public funds weren't used. That's all I care about. Okay, to each their own. I didn't care about Bill Clinton. You know what? Whatever makes a guy do his job better. Hey, whatever. Not my problem. Not my problem. But I just want to make sure tax dollars wasn't used. We know tax dollars were used for Bill Clinton. Okay, he did inhale. Okay, breaking news, Betty Savannah Guthrie, 84-year-old mom, is missing. They have a homicide working case. Who's Savannah Guthrie? Am I missing something here? Hold on. Oh, it's her. Okay, I recognize her. So her mom is missing in Arizona. And they believe there might be a homicide. Well, first of all, we can say that if it's not, let's withhold judgment. Let's see what's going on here.
Was last seen Saturday night and reported missing on Sunday by family members.
Savannah saying in a statement, on behalf of our family, I want to thank everyone for the thoughts, prayers, and messages of support. Right now, our focus remains on the safe return of our dear mom.
Okay, so let's go to AI. Give me a second. Actually, we already got her here, so let's just go into AI mode. Is her mom's investigation a homicide? While the case is currently classified as a missing person investigations, authorities have involved homicide detectives due to concerning circumstances found at Nancy's home. According to Pima County Sheriff's Department, this is not a standard protocol for a missing person. The key details regarding the investigation include foul play not ruled out. Sheriff Chris Nanos stated that while they hope for a safe return, they cannot ignore evidence observed at the scene. Wow. So it sounds like there must have been signs of a violent struggle. Scene evidence. Officials note that the scene at the home stood out as highly unusual, though they have not publicly specified what was discovered. Physical limitations. Investigators highlight that Nancy Guthrie has physical ailments, limits to her mobility, making it less likely she wandered far from her home. Agency involvement. In addition to homicide detectives, FBI and U.S. Customs and Border Patrol are assisting in the search. So it sounds like it's either going to be somebody she knows, or it's going to be like somebody breaking into her house. The problem is she's not there. So somebody has a concealment effort involved as well. which is problematic for me, because if this was just a random person, in my opinion, they would have attacked in the house, left the evidence in the house. If they killed the grandmother or the mom, they would have left her body in the house. They would not have been trying to take her out of the house unless they were trying to take her to an ATM machine or what have you. I do pray that she is found safely. We never want anybody to face this, but we have to remember that this is in Arizona. Arizona has a high number of immigrations. Not that it's leading that way just yet, but it can be one of two things, either a stranger danger or somebody close to the family. In this type of environment, in my opinion, I don't see it being anything else. Okay. Obviously there was something in the house that caused concern for the authorities, and I have to trust that. And let's just see if we can make heads or tails of that. We've already listened to this. Let's see if we can get any type of details. Oh, she looks like a lovely lady too. Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie, has been reported missing in Arizona. And not only that, but who is responsible for her? Who was responsible for checking in on her and stuff like that? At around noon local time, Sunday, February 1st, Pima County received a 911 call reporting Nancy Guthrie, 84, missing from her home outside of Tucson. Guthrie, 84 years old, is not of good physical health, and so naturally we have some great concern. The scene at the house also has some concerns as well. According to the missing person flyer, she's 5'5", 150 pound, brown hair, blue eyes. Anyone with any information is asked to contact Pima County. I hope I'm saying that, Pima or Pima County Sheriff's Office. In the statement today, show told today, the Guthrie family is grateful for the outreach, thoughts, and prayers. We can confirm this is a missing person case and the family is working closely. I'm sorry, I just don't, if she was in bad health, that means somebody is expected to check on her, I would presume, right? So let's just play this tape through. We have an elderly person that lives alone. It sounds like she lives alone. If she doesn't live alone, who's in the house? So we don't have a lot of information to go on here. So let me see if I can dive in just a little bit. We got an 84-year-old mother of NBC Today anchor, Savannah, has been reported missing from her Arizona home. Homicide detectives were sent to the home, which is not standard, and foul play has not been ruled out. So I can tell you with this is exactly what happened to Sebastian Rogers up front, within very, very closely to the time. So they also saw something that was out of the ordinary for a missing child. So they brought in the homicide investigators and the DA immediately as well. So I'm just putting this into perspective because we do talk about the Sebastian Rogers case as well. Search and rescue teams, including volunteers, dogs, Border Patrol agents, helicopters, were also dispatched overnight. It doesn't sound like they found her. So it sounds like death followed by immediate concealment, which is the majority of a lot of our cases. So is this somebody that she knows? See, this is where I'm getting, with just the way things are going. I feel like, and just let me throw some of your theories out there as well. But I feel like if it was a stranger danger, somebody that was just burglarizing the home, I feel like they would have left her body there, right? So because her body is missing, that is what's making me feel that this is a little closer to home. She knew somebody that did this to her because her body is not there. It is somebody known to her. That's my opinion, just on just what we're seeing right now, just following this through, because if you're a stranger danger, if you're somebody that's unknown to them, you're not going to take the time to take her with you. But if somebody's going to know it was you that did this, well, then you're going to try to hide and conceal. So there's definitely things that aren't right here. I'm going to trust that what law enforcement is saying to be true, that there are some things, very, very concerning things inside that house that resulted in, and you know what I believe it is? Blood. because that is usually one of the main reasons why you call the homicide investigation in, is typically there is a lot of blood, right? If it's just, a struggle or something like that, would they bring somebody in? Yeah, possibly, because that would still be foul play. So I think no matter what, so if they just saw a struggle, but it's the way they're describing it that makes me feel, and again, just my opinion, makes me feel like it probably a large amount of blood inside the house somewhere. And she's missing. So that's what's making me feel like this has to be somebody that knows her, because if somebody didn't know her, they would leave her there, because we deal with a lot of, crime across the United States, not really that we dive deep into unless somebody's deceased and it's a whodunit. But typically, when you have a robbery that's gone wrong or something like that, the person's right there. Look at the teacher. We just covered this teacher that was stabbed in her home by an illegal alien while she was on the phone with law enforcement. And, at the end of the day, he left her right where she was. He did not know who she was. So this part where she's removed from the scene is what's leading me to believe that she knows the person. So I just wanted to make sure I over-explained my position on that. So while the police department gets these types of calls often, this one stands out due to what they found at the house. See, I'm saying, I have to think that very concerning. The only thing that we hear very concerning on is a large amount of blood. Okay. And I have to believe that this is a large amount of blood that they saw. Probably a trip to an ATM, possibly. Oh no. I hate that. I hate that for you. I'm sorry. We'll pray for you. I know there's a few people that need some prayers here in the chat. Good gracious. I'm sorry, hun. Having 3 babies like like a stuck kidney stone. I don't mean to laugh at you. You can smack me when you see me. Motive could be that she was Savannah's mom. Yeah. She is well known, and she's from NBC. So, I mean, if it is because it's her mom, she would have had to have a stalker. But still, even if it was a stalker, or because it was her mom, if it was a hit or something like that, they still would have just left her there. I just don't see, because there's no ransom note, there's no kidnapping, nothing that's the concern. When you bring in the homicide investigators, you're seeing something you shouldn't be seeing there. And I have to think that there is a large pool of blood. That's going to be my opinion. It's gotta be a larger than normal. I mean, yeah, you get in a struggle, you have, you get injured, there's going to be blood on the walls and stuff, but that's not concerning. I mean, it's concerning, but it's not so concerning you're bringing in the homicide squad, And the only thing that's very concerning for me would be a big pool of blood and nobody there, right? Where did she go? So, I don't know. This is kind of crazy. I wonder if she had any type of brother that had, did this lady, could remember that lady that lived alone, that had a handyman working with her, and then all of a sudden he encases her in concrete and buries her under a job she got for him at, building a shed for another client. She ends up being in a block of brick and buried under that shed. So is that what we're looking at here? Was it a handyman person? Was it a family member, a brother, a sister? Was it a stranger? I really think that the stranger danger aspect of it is not a possibility here. I really, 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 really believe it's not a possibility here. I could be completely off base, and that's based upon, I believe that they have found a large amount of blood, implying she's already deceased. But I could be wrong. If that theory is wrong, then it might not be. But I still, that was Kelly's aunt. What? Is there family members on drugs trying to shake her down for money, allegedly, in my opinion? Maybe. It gives me not stranger. I don't think stranger vibes. Stranger vibes are not what I'm getting off this at all. This looks too personal. And again, this is just theorizing, folks. We don't have crystal balls in these cases, and as you know, we were just here about to close out a show, and we learned of this case in real time and decided to dive into it to find out, Savannah Guthrie, and then of course learning about her mother. Savannah Guthrie is NBC anchor, and her mother might have been murdered, folks. So this has got to be really, really, really hard. I'm very interested in finding out what happened. But typically in a situation like this, I find it's a family member of some sort, or somebody like a deranged, handyman. That's been our experience on this show so far.
The Today Show opened with truly sad and concerning news about anchor Savannah Guthrie's family. Her mother is missing. Nancy Guthrie apparently disappeared from her home. That's Nancy right there.
She looks like such
from
a sweet
her
lady.
Home near Tucson Saturday night, and a family member called for help and assistance Sunday when she could not be located.
So a family member called. We don't really have a good timeline. Let's find out if we have a good timeline here. Do we have a good timeline? Do we know when the victim... Burn it. Victim. My hands are off wrong. Okay. Do we know when the victim was last seen by a third party? Okay, so Nancy Guthrie was last seen by her family at her home in the Catalina foothills north of Tucson between 9:30 and 9:40 on Saturday, January 30th. So we're at February 6th. Okay, so here's the timeline of events. So family saw her the evening before. On February 1st, around noon, family members called 911 to report her missing. By the evening, Chris held a news conference confirming the homicide. Detectives were due to grave concern. They're not going to see some few items knocked over and call it a grave concern, folks. They found a pool of blood. I almost bet everything that they found a pool of blood that somebody would not have survived from. I'm getting those types of vibes by the language they're using. We've read these types of things before. So she's missing. This has got to be somebody. When you have concealment and cover up, you've got somebody that's known to the victim. That is just, if there is concealment and cover up, it would imply someone she knows, right? It's thinking pretty hard. In criminal investigations, signs of concealment or stage scenes often lead detectives to look closely at those within the victim's immediate circle, and it suggests an effort to delay discovery or mislead investigators. So while authorities have not officially used the words concealment or cover-up, they have noted the following, which aligns with this line of inquiry. The scene concerns Sheriff Chris Nanos stated that the state of the home was concerning and didn't look right, which is why homicide detectives were brought in immediately. Mobility factors. Because Nancy Guthrie had physical ailments that would make it difficult for her to leave on her own, investigators are operating on the premise that she likely had assistance leaving the house, whether voluntary or involuntary. The circle investigation. It is a standard police procedure in cases with suspicious home scenes to prioritize interviewing family and friends and anyone with access to the resident to rule them out. At this stage, the Pima, whatever the heck you call it, Pima County Sheriff's Department has not named any person of interest or suspect, and the case remains an active search and rescue operation. So let's see what the latest, yes, please. So it's going to tell us what the latest statements were. So on February 2nd, 2026, Savannah Guthrie issued statements through the Today Show regarding the disappearance of her 84-year-old mother, Nancy Guthrie. A message of thanks on behalf of our family. We want to thank everyone's thoughts and prayers and messages of support, the statement reads. The primary goal, Savannah emphasized that right now our focus remains on the safe return of her dear mother. If you guys know any information or have any information, 520-351-4900. So the geographic area is searched. The search is focused on Catalina Foothills, a community north of Tucson. Key locations. The search originated near her home at the intersection of East Skyline Drive and North Campbell Avenue. Search methods. A massive search effort is underway by air and ground involving drones, an airplane, and a helicopter, K-9 units, search and rescue volunteers, and agents from U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. Expanded scopes. Deputies have also contacted local hospitals in Tucson area. Nancy Guthrie is 5'5", 150 pounds with brown hair, blue eyes. She reportedly needs daily medications to survive, which has significantly increased the urgency. No, I don't think we need that. So this is definitely very sad to hear about, and I don't think we have any other additional information that we can provide you guys right at the moment. I bet the place was tossed. It could have been tossed, but with the very concerning and bringing on in homicide investigators, it's screaming to me that they found a pool of blood. Just again, it's just my opinion, of what I think truly did happen or is happening or what the case may be. Anyways, guys, thanks for coming and hanging out with me this morning. I know we got kind of, oh my goodness, off to a little bit of a rocky start because the new equipment needs some configurations, and it's been overwhelming learning IT. And I'm trying to make sure I remember everything, and not only that, but I've got to write all this stuff down because we're not keeping this equipment. I mean, we're keeping that equipment, but we're not keeping the computers and stuff like that. And everything I'm downloading on this computer, when we move or transfer computers, we're gonna have to, download all this crap to that computer too. And you got, stuff to work the camera, stuff to work the caption card, then you got OBS and that we don't even have the encoder in yet. So please don't pay more. I pray to God it's not this difficult to hook up the encoder, but we'll get through that too. I wish I would have done it yesterday, but yesterday was the first day of cold weather, and I decided to, like many of you, stay bundled up, and just kind of chill with my dog. So anyways, guys, thanks for coming and hanging out with me. I really do appreciate your time. We do have another case. This is an interesting case, Savannah Guthrie, but we also have another, before we close out, there was another case that I was, what was her name? Let me see if I've got it in my history, in my YouTube history. It was a crazy case of a young girl, and she met this guy on a gaming app, and they believe she's dead too. And it's scary. And she was beautiful too. I know I watched it yesterday on here. Oh, I just watched. Oh yeah, guys, and people, if you're on those shots, that GLP shot, there's new drug risks associated with that stuff, folks. People are waking up blind. This is exactly why I do not jump on, I do not putting substances in my body. We've got this one here, the Florida mom. This one was really sad. She suffocated her 4-year-old son. We might actually cover this case once we get back from the cases that we've got. That's the father right there. He's a dentist, I believe. And he's just in shock. From everything I'm understanding, is this was not supposed to happen. She had to have snapped or something like that. Where is this other lady? We have a girl that went missing. Did I watch it yesterday? All right, now. Dad, burn it. There's a little girl that's missing, and this 39-year-old man, let me write that in there, 39-year-old man arrested, 39-year-old man arrested for kidnapping. See if I can look it up that way. Once I see his face, I'll know it's him. There she is, right there. Haley Busby. This is it. This is it.
Well, this morning, the Fishers community is mourning the loss of 17-year-old who's been missing for a month.
Fishers police say they believe Haley Busby is dead. And now there is a suspect arrested in connection with the case. Anna Chalker has been following this investigation this morning. She's live with the heartbreaking update in this case that's got national attention. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies. So many people with eyes on Fishers yesterday when that announcement came out of here at the Fishers Police Department. And it was an update that nobody wanted to hear. And I'll tell you, this investigation, it's still far from over because police are still searching for Haley's body today. And I want
Gorgeous little girl. She's a teenager. I think she's 16 or 17, something like that. She met a guy on a gaming app. They have not disclosed what gaming app she was on. But, you know, many of those gaming apps moved to Discord and stuff like that. So I'm learning a little more about the gaming stuff behind the scenes. People in gaming, you guys, I don't know. I'm not going to be disrespectful. I know there's a lot of people that are in gaming, but I'm telling you, just be careful. Just be careful. Anyways, she willingly met a man. He ended up being 39-year-old guy. He took her across state lines, and she was never, Fisher, Indiana. And he took her across state lines, and she was never seen or heard from again. They've got him arrested, obviously have evidence that she's deceased. And they don't know where he put her.
I want to walk you through this long investigation that started on January 5th, the day that Haley went missing. Police say an unknown vehicle was in her neighborhood that night, and then days later, they were able to identify 39-year-old Tyler Thomas of Ohio as the person she left with. Investigators believe he contacted her through an online gaming platform. And when police made contact with Thomas, they found that vehicle at his home in Columbus, Ohio, and he also admitted to picking Busby up, but he lied about dropping her off on the side of the road in western Ohio. They say there was also evidence at a short-term rental in Hocking County, Ohio. And with all of this information in the case so far, police believe Busby died within a few days of getting picked up.
Investigators from all agencies involved continue to search for Haley. Haley and her story have been shared nationwide. Between the tips that you have shared with us and the support that you have shown the community, or that they've shown the family, we could not have asked for more from our community and beyond.
Now, it is important to note that Thomas has not been charged in Busby's murder, and in the arresting PC out of...
And she probably didn't, this wasn't, and he does look fairly young without any hair on his face. And, this is what's happening, folks. You guys can't allow your children. I know you guys like your children being out of your hair, on their gaming systems, but this is real life. These gaming systems are not protecting your children. And we keep hearing about these cases over and over again. I mean, that one guy had to go kick in a freaking door on a boat to save his daughter. Like, this is real world, real live. This is going on every freaking day, folks. Like, you got young children over the age, or under the age of 18, even over the age of 18 need to be off these because they're still prey as well. But you guys have got to do something better. These kids cannot be on these systems anymore. Okay? Just think, I mean, it's getting so bad that this is becoming a common practice of these creeps. And all parents want is just their children to be able to play games and have fun. Well, you can't do it on a live thing without parental... These people are able to prey on your children. There's nothing that you guys can do. You know how you can protect your children? Get them games offline. That's the only way to protect your children, is take these games offline. Take them offline. If their friends want to play games with them, they need to come over to the house and play like normal kids. Okay? And then you can kind of oversee everything. If you notice, our government does not like parents. They want to be able to do whatever they want to do with your children. Okay? They want to manipulate them. They want to turn them into whatever they want to turn them into, whether it's good or bad. You are the parent that has to protect your children from your government. Okay? You have to protect your children from your government, and you have to protect your children from the people your government's refusing to protect your children from. That's your job as a parent. So anyways, this one young, beautiful girl is deceased. They believe she's deceased. And again, basically, she was kidnapped. You know, she left willingly because she thought she knew who she was leaving with. Clearly, that person was different than what she thought. She was catfished, and she lost her life because of it. So please protect your children, guys. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. God bless.